Hi, I'm Chrisi Eastham and today's date is Thursday, 28th of November. I'm recording here from my Leeds studio, which is in Patrick Studios in Leeds City Centre. I've been in the studio here for about 4 years and I love it because there are about 28 other studios here, so there's a real community. Before that I had a studio in my garden where I used to work. I've always loved drawing, and from an early age I can remember my earliest memory is being asked to draw a picture of the parents for parents' evening when I was in reception class. Leeds, which is in the north of England, has always been a big tailoring town, and my mother was in tailoring when she left school. And I guess I was always interested in clothes, and I can remember insisting on wearing what was called then a bloomer suit, which was made for me by my mum, and it was like a long tunic with shorts, and I wore it when I was at primary school, and my teacher brought me home from school as she said all the children were looking at me. I used to like drawing clothes and looked at Vogue magazines, and I guess it was a form of escapism because I could have never afforded the clothes they were wearing in those magazines. But my mum, who was very good at sewing, she would make outfits up for me, so I would draw them and then she'd make them up for me. And I did apply to do a fashion degree, but once I got started at Leeds College of Art on the foundation course, I changed my mind and I went on to study fine art at Nottingham Trent, which I loved doing. When I was on my degree, I mainly worked from the life model for 3 years, and I loved finding out about the artists who had preceded me. And as I was working from the life model, I guess my biggest influence was a famous artist who's just recently died, unfortunately, called Frank Auerbach. He was the biggest influence on me as a student. What am I focusing on now? Well, just over a year ago, I was commissioned along with 9 other artists in Leeds to produce an artwork which was 7 by 2 metres high. The artwork was to celebrate the people of Leeds, past and present, and I produced it on my iPad, and then it was enlarged and printed out 7 by 2 metres. It represents the people of Leeds, past and present, and I drew 6 different areas of Leeds life. There was sport, hospitals, transport, retail and culture. The retail image includes my mum and my aunt and my grandma at work on their sewing machines. So I was quite proud of that. Since then, I've been making paintings of people and places in Leeds, past and present, such as the men of the Leeds Corn Exchange, circa 1930s. They're all stood there in their 3-piece suits and their trilbies and Homburgs, and I just love the clothes and the characters that are represented. I also found an old photograph of some women who were Norman Hartnell models, and they're standing on the top of the Queen's Hotel in Leeds, looking over into City Square and looking at the Majestic building in City Square, so that one's called Majestic. Painted the Lido swimmers at the Leeds Open Air Pool, which was there in the 1930s. It doesn't exist now. And I guess I like painting mainly women, really, and I guess they look a bit like fashion models, a lot of the women that I paint. My biggess challenge, I suppose the biggest challenge of being an artist is being able to make a living as an artist. And I guess I went down the teaching route, and I mainly taught in high schools, which I really enjoyed, but it does leave you very little energy for making art. But now I just teach small groups of adults, portrait painting and printmaking at Leeds Print Workshop, which is great because it's in the same building as my studio. Advice to my younger self, well, I think I would like to switch it around and have my younger self advising my older self to keep on being bold and inventive and keep on reaching out for opportunities to see how far I can take things in my artwork. Yes, I listen to the radio mainly when I'm working. I switch stations to give me some variety, and sometimes I work in silence if I need to concentrate. The best reaction to my work, I would say, was when I was a contestant on Sky Television Portrait Artist of the Year in 2020. We'd 4 hours to paint our celebrity sitter, to paint a portrait of her, and we had Zoe Ashton, and I remember when we all turned our easels around after 4 hours and she was able to see the work, she just went, wow, and then she went on to select my portrait to take away with her, so that was, I guess, a really good reaction. I think what I hope people will take away from my artwork is that they can feel some familiarity and affinity with the artwork and with the subject matter that connects with them and with their experiences of life. And I hope that they will enjoy looking at the work and living with it. And thank you all for listening.